God? This is what Turek asked his university professor, and to his surprise, the professor did not have an answer for him. After examining all the evidence, taking into account intellectual, emotional, and volitional obstacles, one can reach the conclusion that it requires greater faith to be a non-Christian than it does to be a Christian. Turek and his fellow friend Geisler aim to explain this idea in the upcoming chapters. The main premise of Chapter 1 is that truth about reality is knowable. One way this is demonstrated is through the Roadrunner tactic. In the cartoon, when Wile E. Coyote is chasing the Roadrunner near a cliff, the Roadrunner stops suddenly while Wile E. Coyote keeps running. The minute that Coyote realizes he is no longer on the ground, he plummets. In the same way, whenever you bring up the Roadrunner argument to relativists and postmodernists, the cracks in their argument begin to reveal themselves. As a way to showcase its effectiveness, they decided to put the Roadrunner strategy to the test. They ventured out into the streets, knocking on doors and engaging people in discussions about their faith. During one of these encounters, they met a man named Ron, who was initially skeptical. However, by using the Roadrunner effect and highlighting the self-defeating nature of a belief in no truth, Ron eventually came to embrace Christianity several weeks later. This confirms that truth about reality is knowable, and to deny truth is knowable is to affirm it. The central premise of Chapter 2 is that the opposite of true is false. To illustrate this, the authors show areas as to why people believe what they believe. They gave examples including sociological, psychological, religious, and philosophical reasons. The underlying message of this point is that relying on subjective reasons to validate our beliefs is insufficient, and we must seek objective evidence to discover what is true. The chapter continues by looking at two philosophers who oppose the idea of the law of non-contradiction, David Hume and Immanuel Kant. David Hume argued for hard empiricism, claiming that something can only be meaningful if it is empirically verifiable or true by definition. The authors point out that the argument is self-defeating, as Hume's assertions do not follow that criterion. Immanuel Kant argues that the truth about the natural world is that there are no truths. The authors once again refute this argument by demonstrating how it's self-defeating and that Kant claims no one can know anything about the natural world, while also claiming that he knows the real world is unknowable. Overall, I have learned from the introduction, Chapter 1, and Chapter 2 that truth is something that can be known and that it cannot be false. With this understanding, I am now able to delve deeper into why I lack the faith